It's finally time to announce the results of Week 8 of the Phoenix Festival Tournament. Only about 3 weeks late getting around to it, which I do apologize for, but I'll give an explanation to that at the end of this video. First things first, we have our 2 matches to go over. Our first match in the secondary bracket was Pyrrha Nikos versus James Ironwood. All of the combatants remaining in the tournament are extremely skilled, and these two are prime examples. The most skilled first-year student that we have seen in the RWBY series up until this point, and the general of the Atlas military. 2 characters whose skill cannot be underestimated, in particular with Ironwood having the entire experience of his lifetime of building up to becoming general of the Atlas military, probably has a lot more experience than Pyrrha. But it was Pyrrha that came out the victor, largely due to Ironwood having a majority of his body being metal. Now, we don't actually know if the metal that Ironwood's body is made out of could actually be manipulated by magnetism. This is something that I've thought about for a while, but it would make sense that prosthetics in the world of RWBY wouldn't be magnetized, so that if they just came around any magnetic object or magnet in general, they wouldn't just have their limbs either ripped off or in Ironwood's case completely attached to the magnet, especially if it was one of those industrial style magnets, then yeah, that could end very badly for the Tin Man. But in this case, we are assuming that Ironwood's body could be manipulated by polarity, and Pyrrha would be able to take the victory without too much difficulty. Even if Ironwood's body wasn't able to be manipulated by Pyrrha's polarity, his weapons can. His due process, the dual pistols that he wields, could be ripped away by Pyrrha, and even though he is more of a long-range fighter, that would give Pyrrha the advantage. She would be able to use her skill in close combat. Again, Ironwood is no pushover, but Pyrrha would be able to overwhelm him in the end. So it would be Pyrrha that would take the victory in this match. And then in our second match, we had the 2 undefeated characters up until this point in the tournament going head-to-head, Neapolitan and Winter Schnee. 2 of the most skilled characters in the RWBY series, definitely fitting of the final match. Winter being essentially the second in command of the Atlas military, with her skill in close combat wielding her dual blades and the dust that's held within them, being able to combine with her glyphs, allowing a lot of versatility as well as her summoning, and Neapolitan in her skill at deception, using her semblance of overactive imagination, creating illusions to mess with her opponents, and also her ability to evade attacks, to use an opponent's momentum against them. This match would be an incredible one to see, and through the voting there were many scenarios and arguments given as to which one would win, both for Neo and for Winter. Given different situations, it could be either one that would win. But in the voting, it was determined that one would win more often than not, and that was Winter Schnee. Thanks to Winter's versatile semblance, with her summons being able to buy her time and possibly being able to shatter Neo's illusions, as well as the increased momentum that her glyphs can give her, she would be able to avoid a lot of Neo's attacks, as well as her fighting style being one that might be able to keep up with Neo, or at least a lot more likely than other fighting styles we've seen in the RWBY series. Having the dual blades, she would be able to counter Neo's fighting style of redirecting momentum, and as long as Winter didn't get too far thrown off her game, Neo of course would be using illusions of Weiss, the rest of her family, etc. Especially considering Neo has, worked in the Schnee manner, there would be a fair bit that she could probably use to her advantage. Winter would be able to stay calm, assuming the tournament-style setting, not the stressful situation of Volume 8, and would come out the victor overall. Now, with Winter being victorious against Neo, I am comfortable with calling it the final match of the Phoenix Festival Tournament overall. That Winter Schnee is the ultimate victor of the tournament, second place is Neo, and third place is Pyrrha. As if we were to continue it at this point, we would have a rematch between Neo and Pyrrha, and going back to review the answers of their previous match, well, Neo came out the victor largely because she didn't have that much metal on her body, her illusions would be able to interfere with Pyrrha, and she would be able to take advantage of that and be able to overwhelm Pyrrha. Even though Pyrrha might be the more skilled fighter, Neo with her illusions would be able to win out over her. And with that being the case, if Neo won against Pyrrha again, it would end up being a rematch between Winter and Neo. And largely, in both of the matches today, the biomes didn't really play a factor. So, with that being the case, Winter would likely win out against Neo again, and it would be a repeat up until now. So, Winter Schnee gets the gold in the Phoenix Festival tournament, Neapolitan gets silver, and Pyrrha gets bronze. And that means in both categories, both the singles and the doubles, there is a Schnee that is at the top of the rankings. Winter won in the singles, and Weiss won in the doubles alongside her partner Maria Calavera. This year's tournament was fantastic. I really enjoyed all of the matches this time around, having all of the characters being a lot more refined, only having 32 instead of trying to force 64 characters, which there were a lot of throwaway matches, etc. in last year's tournament. But in this one, there were so many matches that could have gone either way, and I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. Now, I know there are some people who would have liked the tournament to continue, see if the rematch between Neo and Pyrrha would have turned out the same way, as well as the rematch between Winter and Neo, so I'll give this to you for the comments down below. If Neo and Pyrrha were to have their rematch, they would have fought in the anti-gravity and geyser biomes. So if you think that would have changed the outcome of their matches, let me know down in the comments below. Personally, I think that would have given Neo a bit more of an advantage than Pyrrha, as the anti-gravity biome seems like something Neo would be more accustomed to dealing with than Pyrrha, but again, Pyrrha is also very skilled, so she would likely acclimate to that as well, so, you know, biomes may not play that much of a factor in that fight. And then in the final match between the victor between Neo and Pyrrha and Winter, she would at the very least be getting silver in this tournament, but likely would end up with the gold as well. That match would be held in the lava and urban biomes. So let me know if you think everything would have turned out the exact same way, with Winter in first place, Neo in second, and Pyrrha in third. And now, time to address why I haven't uploaded at all in the last 4 weeks. Ultimately, I ended up kind of taking on a bit more than I could handle, or at the very least, putting more pressure on myself than I could handle. And that was due to the OC tournament, or at least that was the final straw that ended up making me have to take this break. It's honestly been building since the beginning of the year, but long and short of it, I put too much pressure on myself and had to just step away to clear my mind and, you know, just take a rest. Because at the beginning of this year, I had the privilege and honor of being able to do the RWBY recap series. I put tons of hours, a couple all-nighters, and all of my spare time into making those videos as the best as I possibly could. And after I was able to finish those 5 videos for Rooster Teeth, I then, Volume 8 started up again, I then did the reviews, more theories, and I should have taken a break at that point. Taken a little gap after Volume 8 to recuperate, to get some rest, but instead I really wanted to get going with the OC contest. And so, right after Volume 8 ended, I announced the OC contest, anticipating maybe like 200 to 300 entries that I would have to read over through the couple months, and that wouldn't be too bad. I would be able to rest in between there, but I ended up getting over 200 entries in the first 2 days. By the end of it, getting over 700 entries and having to read through all of those was enjoyable, but it was also a lot to do. And that didn't really give me that much downtime, especially having to make cuts and eventually whittle down a number of over 700 down to just 32. And I was able to do that down to 120 and down to, I think it was 59 at the time of the final cut, which I even took off the Friday before I announced the results video, so I gave myself the Friday and the Saturday to make that final cut. But doing so was way more stressful than I thought it would be. There were so many good characters, so many people that I thought were deserving to win, that it put a lot of pressure on me, was incredibly stressful, and, I ended up even having to delay the results video an extra day because of that. And after that point, by that point, I had already been running the Phoenix Festival tournament as well, so I was going through with that, and now including the actual answers within the videos, that just adds even more, because I do read through every single answer that comes in for the Phoenix Festival tournament. Adding in the multiple different answers is something that I wanted to do to, let everyone be a part of the tournament, or at least see that their answers have made it in. And I've also been trying to make sure that each person doesn't have more than a couple answers in each video, so that I'm not using just one person's answers all the way throughout. I want multiple people to get their answers in, etc. So there's a lot of things that goes on behind the scenes, and leading up until this point, I was putting a lot of pressure on myself to get the OC tournament going, to make those videos going over the characters that had been selected, and I was putting so much pressure on myself that I said, this has to be my next video. I need to force myself to make this. I need to, and it just got to the point where I would step up in front of the camera, try to record those types of videos, and nothing was feeling right, nothing was going right in my mind, and I needed to step away. So for these past 4 weeks, the first 2 of them were pretty stressful. I was still trying to force myself to film those videos and do this and that, and then eventually I came to the conclusion that I'm gonna just have to do things to the best of my ability, and I'm sure, or at least I hope, that people would be accepting of that. But I needed to take some time to de-stress, to relax, and to focus on, well, myself and my own mental health. So I did that for a couple weeks, and now, thankfully, I feel like I'm in the best mental state I've been in since the end of Volume 8. I've been able to rest up, I feel rejuvenated, and for the next 4 weeks or so, I kind of want to get back to the things that I have been meaning to get around to for a while. That being a lot of the theories that I have had from Volume 8. Even though I've been focusing on the OC contest, the Phoenix Festival tournament, and the OC tournament, in the back of my mind there's been all of those theories that have been spinning. But since I was putting the pressure on myself to get out the next tournament video, to focus on the OC contest, etc., well, that's also kind of added to that stress that I haven't been able to get out the theory videos that I've really wanted to. So, you know, everything just kind of snowballed and piled up until it was just too much and I kind of shut down. So I do apologize to all of you for the lack of communication, for not letting you all know what's been going on. It's been a lot, and I needed to just full stop and step away. But everything is okay. Apparently there's been a couple people who have, been trying to check for signs of life, which I do appreciate, and again, I'm sorry that I stepped away for so long, but I have a lot of videos planned, and I do want to, put a lot of them out for the next month or so. The theory videos and other videos that I've been meaning to catch up on, and the OC tournament will certainly still be happening, but it won't be immediately. It might run alongside the videos of Volume 9 as it's starting to come out. Honestly, that may not be a bad idea, as it would get more people who are interested in RWBY notified of the OC tournament and, get more interest building that way. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Hopefully you'll all understand why I had to step away. If this happens again next time, I'll make sure to let you all know what exactly is going on, because I feel really bad about doing that, but it's something that I feel I needed to do. Just step away from everything for a short time, from YouTube, from the Discord server, from pretty much everything. I just had to take that step back, focus on myself, and now I am back. I am extremely ready for Roman Holiday. That is coming out in just a couple of days. Don't worry, there will be videos made on that, as well as many videos to come for Volume 8 and for Volume 9 that is yet to come as well. So hopefully you guys will all be looking forward to that. If you are, make sure to subscribe and join the Guild of the Eternal Flame. Tweet me at PhoenixKnight7, and I'll see you all in the next video.